everyone, and welcome to Chronicles of Yarnia, the podcast from Montclair's local yarn store. Make sure to like and subscribe us down under that-a-way, or that-a-way.
Which is there. And then you'll be notified every time we have a new podcast. We're trying to stay on our regular schedule of every other week. Hopefully we can keep it there.
Anyway, follow us on YouTube at Shop Yarnia, Ravelry, also Shop Yarnia, Facebook, Yarnia LLC. Where else are we? Everywhere else? Instagram, Shop Yarnia. Anyway.
My name's Amanda.
I totally forgot to introduce myself. I'm Jen, and welcome.
Kathleen.
Hey.
And we are again coming to you from our homes. This is podcast number 26.
Oh, I wanted to say it.
Oh, sorry. You can say it.
Well, I'm in the Jen spot, sort of. So, episode 26.
Episode 26 and quarantine episode number 2.
Because I know, especially with everybody having to stay inside and practicing our social distancing really well, it's nice to have something to look forward to every couple of weeks, and I hope there's a few of you that are looking forward to joining us here on our channel and learning what we've been knitting. So first up, what's going on in town. So this is the last week of school before spring break for Montclair public schools. But for my little kids who go to Lacardaire Academy, they have spring break for 2 weeks. So we have spring break this week. I feel like we just got on a regular schedule with school, you know, getting up in the morning and doing our work and all that stuff. So actually we're going to stay on our schedule. I've picked out some activities. I mean, like I was talking about last week, every kid has, you know, strengths and weaknesses and things that they can stand to improve on. So we're actually going to take this time and work on those a little bit for especially my second grader. The writing paragraphs thing. Ugh, oh my goodness. Definitely struggle with that. So, but we're combining it all into like a big unit about birds. So we're going to learn how to sketch birds. I've gotten some sketch pads for the kids. We have binoculars. We've got a field guide and a kids book about birds. So we'll learn about the birds in our backyard, the parts of birds, that kind of thing, which I think will be really fun about now. And it's always nice to be able to tell what kind of birds you see when you see them out, right? Like say like, oh, I know that's a bluebird or a blue jay or a cardinal or a mourning dove or mockingbird or whatever, yeah. So it'll help the kids feel a little more connected to our community. And then when they go to new places, they'll be curious about what kind of birds there are there. If you have any questions about what we're doing, if you saw our bullet journal episode a couple weeks ago, I actually spent yesterday putting together a little plan of my bullet journal along with like the resources I'm using. I'm happy to share those with anybody who's interested if you want to comment down below.
We're taping in the evening, which is unusual
but
for us.
The light is really beautiful around it.
The light's really pretty. And actually, yeah, we changed our view this time. Last time we sat with the bookcases just like we have in the store behind us. Today we sat with the windows behind us, and you can see my nice orange wall. I really do love orange.
This was like years before the store too.
This, I think that we had this room done 6 years. 6 years ago, I think.
No.
I saw something recently. Anyway, it's a while.
I feel like I was in.
Oh no!
I like graduated.
No,
from
it was after I was
school,
going for Mercer. It was after I was going for Mercer.
Which I was in 4th grade.
Wow. So there you go.
So
all right,
right.
Enough of that. All right. So as we usually do, we kick off with around town. So
nothing's happening.
Well, people have been doing their social distancing. I think we've been getting out for like one good walk with the dog every day. Staying our 6 feet apart from people. I feel like people are even friendlier. I feel like people more acknowledge each other as they're walking around.
I wave to everyone I see.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Actually, that's one thing too. As we're out and about,
I know. I'm seeing
everything
so
in bloom.
much.
Everything in bloom. I have been doing for years. I've been saying I wanted to do a series of this tree that we have off of our back porch, like take a picture every day.
Like a long time lapse.
Yeah. And because I always felt like the tree went from nothing to full leaves in a week. And I've been taking pictures of it for about the last 14 days, and boy, those leaves are small. When you actually... Exactly. A watched tree doesn't leaf. Oh, thank you, Jean. So one of the things we've been doing at Yarnia is doing a lot of shipping. We definitely,
We have an online store.
we
if
do.
you didn't know.
The store's been closed to foot traffic for almost 3 weeks now. And Amanda or I go in separately about every other day to pick things and do deliveries in town and do a lot of shipping across the country. We are only set up to ship in the US right now, but you take a look at things on our website. If we talk about things on the podcast, they may not necessarily be on the website, but if they're not, we have hours that we man the phones. You'll talk to me. Hi. It has really been fun actually talking to people that have seen us on the podcast or just that found us. We've had a ton of local support from the Montclair community, even people who didn't come to the store before. I feel like so many people are really trying to do their best to support small businesses because they want them to be there on the other side of the crisis. And of course we do too. So, we appreciate everyone, doing things from buying a gift card to, saying, yeah, help me pick out a new project, to I want to send a gift to somebody. I mean, it's been really, really very cool town. Oh, actually, one other, we had a comment from Chanel, who is a former staff member at Yarnia, who now lives in Colorado. Hey, Chanel. Talking about, what people are doing for self-care. And I thought that was a really great thing to think about at this time. A lot of people are crafting, and actually a lot of people are sewing masks, both as additional protection for medical personnel, and also, now that there are more and more recommendations by local governments and the CDC that it does help for people to wear, for the average person to wear, even a fabric mask when they're outside. People have been sewing those. Oh, I guess we could have shown ours. I spent some time over the weekend. I've made a few, given one to a friend who's immunocompromised, and she was really thankful for that yesterday. I don't know, I'm just a slow sewer, I guess. I'm like a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to sewing, so I haven't been able to bang them out in 20 minutes, but I've made them with an opening at the bottom so you can put a paper filter in and remove it before washing, and a little nose piece and everything, and they are taking about an hour each. So not super quick, but I will make as many of those as I can. Hi, welcome back to Kathleen. I'm here with my other coworker, Anna. She's my little puppy who hopefully the mailman won't come while I'm talking to you, because if the mailman comes, we'll have to stop this because she'll be deafening. She's very sweet. She's a rescue who is a Caarin Dachshund mix, we believe, and she's been part of our family for about 5.5 years now. Yeah. Oh, and she's being so sweet. I mean, she's always sweet to us, but she can be a little loud sometimes. It's a good doggy. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you quickly. I mentioned about our some of the masks I've been sewing lately, and I'm going to ask Amanda to link to the video that one of our friends from the Montclair Knitting Circle and Sew Together Montclair did on YouTube to make a mask for use by individuals just when they're out walking, and if they have to go to the grocery store and things like that. So this is one that I made from Sue Morrocco's pattern. I did modify it a little bit in that I added an opening at the bottom to be able to put a coffee filter in. Apparently coffee filters have some of the best filtration, and the way I do it is I fold my coffee filter in half. I cut off the edges because you want it to be able to be flat in there. I fold it in thirds, stick it into the opening, get it all the way up in there, and then just gently use your fingers to unfold the 2/3 again so that it's relatively flat in there. And then you've got a nice 2-layer, this is quilting fabric. I've got flannel in the back that actually was a king size sheet that got a hole in it. So it is a ton of flannel. I washed it again, of course, before using it. And then the other thing I've done, in addition to what Sue had in her video, because I read about it after the fact, was I added a little bit of ribbon that I cut with pinking shears to make a channel for a nose piece. So there's just a bread tie in here that I rounded the, I folded the ends in, slid them in, and that can make this type of mask a little bit more close fitting on your face. So there you go. And that's the type of mask I've been making. I have not had a whole lot of time for sewing. I've mainly just been doing them for family and some friends that have requested it. But I do encourage you to check out Sue's video. She's an excellent and very patient teacher. So that is the mask. And my little coworker here has gotten, hello, Anna, do you want to go in your regular spot? Do you want to come sit on my lap? But I still have actually not been knitting that much. I mean, I've been trying not to go too crazy reading the news, but at the same time, I want to stay informed by what's going on. I actually know a lot of people, as I mentioned, it was my husband's birthday yesterday, and one of my best friends also who happens to live in town, so we've been keeping in touch with people. We have a ton of family birthdays in late March to early April, so we're doing a family Zoom birthday party on Saturday, which actually, I don't know, I feel like my to-do list is longer in some ways, even though I'm in my house 95% of the time. I'm not chipping away at that many things. I guess I just have different things to do now, and you got your big paper in yesterday, so you have...
I know, I was going to say later, my main work in progress, that's now a finished object, I can't even show you, but yes.
But you submitted that yesterday, and
yeah.
You got it off your plate. That's
finished
good.
My essay, so now I can actually crochet, which is the important thing.
So it really is important to take time for yourself. I saw one article. I forget why I went on Facebook this morning. I don't know. I was checking on one thing, and I saw an article that to me started out as so interesting. It was talking about things you should do for self-care, and it had like 20 items, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's overwhelming me even just reading this. It's like, I agree with the sentiment, but at the same time, like trying to do 20 things, take a half hour for this and a half hour for that, I was like, it was just a little overwhelming. But I don't know, I think I'd say overall, like, give yourself space to not be try not to be a perfectionist about things if you usually are. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I haven't been too much of a perfectionist, but except with the masks, because I really am a very perfectionistic sewer. I think trying to have a routine does make sense. I've been up really, really late some nights. I just haven't been sleepy until like 2 a.m., which is not a great way to get your morning started when you try to get up at 8, but do what I can do.
You're living like a college student now.
Yeah, really. And try to be kind to yourself and be kind to others. I mean, and I think it is really important. And I feel like people have been kind of going in waves of like being kind to each other, and then like people kind of get to the breaking point and they get a little snippy. And I know I am one of those people. But I've really been trying not to do that. And I think most people are kind of giving each other a little bit of space, I would say. I think people are kind of letting those things roll off, which is really good. So, yeah, try to make sure you're eating well. We've been doing a lot of creative, like, quarantine cuisine. I have not been taking pictures or anything. I've just been trying to do, just, like, be in the moment when we're doing those things. Yeah, I think I do spend a lot more time grocery shopping than I used to, or like planning my things to try to do a online order and thing like that I never used to do that. So I guess that's why the list seems long, because we're spending time on things that we didn't used to spend time on. And the half-hour walk with the dog every day has been really good. Good to get out.
She's right here. That's why we both.
Yeah, she's here asleep. You may hear her snoring, actually. So, all right. So I guess that is it for around town, and just be good to yourself, be good to others.
Yeah,
and
my advice would just be kind to others and be kind to yourself, because no one needs to be, like, if you're taking this time to be super productive and that's better for you and making you feel better, go for it. And if you can't be productive, don't
beat yourself up.
Beat yourself up about just continuing on and doing what you got to do.
Exactly. I totally agree. All right. So
But again, I don't know what day it is either. I keep asking my kids who are doing virtual learning, I'm like, what day do you have tech? And they're like, I told you it was Wednesday. And I was like, what day is today? Just tell me if you have tech today or not. Can you just tell me if we have tech today? Because I don't know. So I'm sure many of you are also doing that fun kind of thing today or yesterday, or maybe you're taking a break and they're on their Zoom call, or you're doing some laundry or whatever it is. Anyway, I hope everybody is staying safe. What's going on around town is, I don't know what's going on around town. There's a whole lot of stuff going on around town, but hopefully everybody is staying home, trying to get those grocery delivery slots. Hat tip, if you're an insomniac like me, you can get your slots at like midnight, 2 a.m. That kind of works. What else is going around town? Oh, one cool thing is Crossover Industries, who's the company who makes wrist rulers, some of our favorites. I don't have mine on because I've been washing my hands a lot. I'm not wearing any jewelry right now. But Crossover Industries is it has come up with a super fantastic journal. It's like Crazy Times Journal. I'm sure I got that name wrong because I literally did not write this down. And Amanda will edit it in. I'm really making life harder for her. Times Journal. Crossover Industries, who are the wrist ruler folks. We love the wrist rulers. They're doing a Crazy Times Journal. Super great way to kind of document what's going on right now. And maybe help your mental health a little bit. So that's something that's going on around. What else is going on? I've been making a lot of sourdough bread. When I was in high school, I actually wanted to be a pastry chef or a baker. And then I realized that I don't really like chocolate. I know, don't at me. I don't. So I decided against the pastry life. Plus, although I am an insomniac, I'm not good at waking up early. So pastry life also not for me. That said, I've always been a bread baker. But I haven't done it a lot in the last couple of years. I did have a sourdough starter that moved with us to our new house about 4 years ago, and I have done literally nothing with it in 4 years. But prior to that, I went through a really big sourdough phase. So I revitalized that starter. I basically took it out of the fridge, poured off the alcohol, poured off half, started feeding it 50-50 by weight, flour and water. And now I've made like 7 loaves or so. They came out really great. I'll send Amanda a picture. Maybe she can slot it in. I'm happy to share how I do it. And my notes. I use baker's percentages, so if anybody knows anything about that, they might know. And in the meantime, I have since shared some of that starter with like 6 different people, including Kathleen. So basically every time I pour it off, I'm like, who wants some starter? So if you're local and you want starter, hit me up, because I bake pretty frequently and it's pretty decent. I have to say, I'm pretty happy with it. I haven't had to use any yeast or anything like that. I'm also not going to talk your ear off about sourdough because I'm not that dude. Sorry. I mean, I will if you want me to, but I'm not going to do it here. So in the meantime, what else is going on around town? I am coming to you today, not from my living room, but from my office and craft room, which is a bit of a mess. I did clean it up, so the big pile of empty boxes is missing from that corner. But I'm not sitting the way I would normally sit in my comfy chair because I'm backlit. And it would be in shadow, and Amanda would yell at me. I don't know if she would yell at you, but I'll give you a little tour if that gets dizzy. So here's my yarny, crafty area with a big island in the middle. IKEA, thank you very much. My craft sign, which is from my sister-in-law. That painting is my grandmother. She was a fine artist. And I think I stole that from my mom. I think it may have been designated for her, but I got it. Sorry, rah-rah. I love that painting. There's a bunch of stuff over there. That is my double-sided desk. It used to be one side for crafting, and one side for editing, because I am a freelance editor by trade, children's book editor. But honestly, who am I kidding? The crafting took over. And then I also have here, I'll actually walk around and show, and Amanda can edit it as you will. So here are some of my bookshelves, these are all books that I worked on or edited. Ooh, I'm really bad at this. You can see that. That's stuff I took from Penguin when I left. So this is really difficult to do without getting dizzy. There's all my random crap. And we're going to go back to my cozy little nook. There's my chair and my pillow. This is really random. I apologize. So, that's what's going around here, is literally me doing a 360 of my craft room. Over that away, which you can't necessarily see because I didn't go all the way around, is my yarn storage. So maybe I will do that, just a scotch. So behind there are closed cabinets that have, with glass fronts, that have all of my yarn in bins labeled by, I change it up every so often, but right now they're labeled by weight. I did a big craft restash reorganization a little while ago, because my room it looked like a bomb hit it. It was an explosion mess. And you can't see over here because I very carefully did not show you the floor that has all my fiber in a pile, in a basket, because I'm kind of messy. But I do like order, and I do like structure. So I reorganized all of that stuff. And on the other side of the island are shelves that hold some fiber as well. So I try to organize it by weight, and then within the weight, I have it by project if I know what it is, or just randomly. And then I have a couple of bins of like leftover skeins. So bits and pieces here and there, which I really should label a little bit better than I do, rather than just have the leftovers kind of all a jumble. But right now they're all a jumble. I also have a sewing machine over there, and my old vintage sewing machine is downstairs in the basement. I have a couple of weaving looms, including the Fisher-Price weaving loom. I do tapestry weaving. That's what's hanging up on that post behind there, is a couple of tapestry weaves. But yeah, and then here is a bunch of my knitting and spinning library. And behind me is a bunch of storage, and then vintage kids books and YA books, including trashy stuff. Like cheerleader series, because I love that shit. Sorry, I love that stuff.
But the other thing that's going on in our community, which we're super excited about, is Caarin Fleischmann, one of the instructors at Yarnia, and way beyond that is like a designer and has been designing knitwear for years. Super experienced, has released her first self-published ebook. Yay! So 10 Tiny Knits came out last week. It is a book all about knitting for little ones. And I've actually test knit 2 of the patterns, so I'm happy to share those with you. I think you've seen at least one of them on the podcast before, but now they're available for you to go check out and knit. So this is the first one that I knit. I knit this back last July. This is Charlie's size. This is the Sweetums cardigan. Yeah, this is Sweetums cardigan. It's made for DK. It's a pieced pattern, so you knit the back 2 fronts, you seam them and the arms, and you seam them together, which I really like this construction. I mean, I find that was the first way I ever made a sweater, and I find it really easy to do. I like seaming, as we'll talk about a little bit later. So I have no problem with seaming, and I really like this design. It's nice I made this out of Harriet, which is 100% alpaca DK weight. I wouldn't always recommend 100% alpaca for a sweater, but this sweater is very heavily cabled, right? And cables, those twists, give structure to the garment, so you're getting a lot of structure from that. Plus, since it's pieced, you've got these seams here, all the way down the side, right, that are giving some structure and support to the garment as well. So it works out really well. Charlie's been wearing this. There's a little bit of schmutz on the front from a baby, because he's a baby. I could probably stand to wash it, but honestly it does just fine. And it's outerwear for him, right? Like, this is heavy enough in alpaca that it's heavy enough he can wear it out on a spring day. Playing in the yard, it's a great sweater. Here, I'll hold it up so you can see it better. Yeah, so you can see, like, it's got nice cable work all the way across, right? Even down the arms. I love this pattern. I love it so much. Yay, I might make one a little bigger for next year for him. And then the second one that I test knit was the Tootsie Pie Raglan. Now I'm sitting here today because I hope my camera would focus better, but I'm not sure about how that's going. This is a sample at Yarnia, and Caarin actually designed this to be a pattern for a first sweater class. So obviously, you know, getting through an adult sweater in a first sweater class can be a little daunting. So that's a lot of stitches, depending on the size, and any size. That's a lot of stitches to do a sweater. But when you're doing a baby sweater, it's really fast. So this is a raglan. That means it starts off, you know, at the neck. It's all in one piece. Caarin has some really creative, method to make sure that the back of the neck comes up a little bit. You've got a really nice fit. So it's all, you know, plain stockinette, has the nice increased raglans, and then down at the end of the sleeves and on the bottom, she's got some, what do you call it, half brioche stitch for 4 rows. So if you're feeling confident by the time you get to the end, it's a good opportunity to learn just a little bit of a new texture stitch, and that's what gives the little texture here at the end. I'll hold it up so you can see. See, that's so cute. And there's the, yeah, that half brioche. So yeah, so I think all of the patterns in Tin Tiny Knits are super traditional. They're really classic. They're perfect for babies, and they've all got like some really special details. Caarin put a ton of work into it. Totally pays off. So I'm going to link those down below. Oh, I forgot to say, I made this sweater in Spud and Chloe's sweater, which is their worsted weight wool cotton blend, which is just really lovely for babies too, because it's completely machine washable. Throw it in the dryer too. It's a great yarn. But yeah, Caarin's 1090 Knits, that's what's happening around town. Finished objects, because I have a finished object. I did finish this. I finished it like a week ago. This is Rachy Newin's Through the Cloud shawl, and I'll take it off so you can see it. But this is a triangle shawl. Rachy was going to do a workshop, which I'm sure we'll still have when life is back to normal again. But Rachy was going to do a workshop on this pattern, and I think she was going to do it at the Pennsylvania Fiber Fair too. So if you happen to be going to a fiber festival in Pennsylvania later on, like in the fall, take a look and see if she's going to be there. So this is her Through the Cloud shawl, and it's crocheted starting here in the center, and it creates a really great triangle shawl pattern. Right, maybe I'll take a picture of it so you can see the whole thing at once. But what I really love about it is the texture of the fabric. See? Right? It's a 3 skein, well, no, it's a 3 color shawl. Designed for fingering weight. I'm a rebel, and I did mine in DK and just changed the hook size, but otherwise followed the pattern exactly. Yeah, so I was wearing it like a little bit asymmetrical with my jewel shawl cuff, which holds it together really nicely to like not be quite so tight. I actually, but yeah, so Rachy's Through the Clouds shawl, I used three colors of DK. So I used Quake is the very darkest color, and that's by Spun Right Round, and they're Squish DK. The lightest color, the white-ish speckle, is a Tosh DK, and that is a color I forget. Oh my goodness. It's not Jupiter's Moon Callisto. 11 Light. It's 11 Light. And then the pink is Oink Pigments in her Mystic DK, and the color is Indy 101. And that was a special edition colorway. I use that so you sort of alternate using 2 colors at a time, and so I hold that Indy 101 constant. But the other two, it creates such a soft and smooth fabric. I really love it. It's very squishy, and it's going to be super warm in the wintertime under my coat, and it's a great color scheme for my wardrobe. I just really like it. Super recommend. And what I did, I think if I was using fingering, I would have gone longer. But I ran out of the pink, 2 skeins of the pink. So I used 1 skein of the white, 1 of the dark, and 2 of the pink, and that's how far I got. So, yeah, if you want to make it bigger, if you want to make it in DK, you can make it in DK. It's super adjustable. If you want to make it in fingering, that's fine. You might end up with more stripes because your mileage is a little bit longer on those yarns. But yeah, I love it. So I'm gonna keep it on because I love it. It feels so good. Let's see. Next, I keep feeling my finger. I've been knitting a ton this week, and I've actually got a callus like on the tip of my finger.
All right, so the one finished object I have, which I was pretty close to finish with last time, but it truly is, except that I still have not blocked it, is my second Nightshift. Ooh, and this is kind of cool. You can actually see the light through it from the window behind us. So I need to put all of my details in Ravelry about it, but I used...
Actually, you know what it looks like?
What?
Candy buttons.
Oh, yeah, how perfect. That's one of my favorite candies ever. So I used the mushroom of Noro Silk Garden Solo as the background, and I picked 4 different skeins of the Silk Garden Multi that I used throughout it. And I stopped when I ran out of the mushroom, and I just did the bind off using, I just kept picking contrasting colors so I'd have a light and a darker for the whole thing. So because I kept doing that, I have a ton of ends to weave in. So you know what, maybe I'll start doing that tonight. We were watching something last night with subtitles, so I did not do any knitting with the subtitles.
I kept having to, like, anytime I heard them talking, I would like stop and look up.
Oh yeah, actually, even though we're in finished objects, one thing that we've been doing is we started a list of, since we're all home every evening, a list of movies to watch. So I did this little grid. Actually, it's right over there. Do you want to grab it? In case this helps inspire somebody with a way to fill your time. I did a little grid, and actually, I don't know if we can share it through our, I don't know if we can post like files on YouTube for people to download, but it's really straightforward, and it's just a little grid, and it's got the letters A to Z. And I was thinking actually we could have a number in there too, because there's a fair number of movies that start with numbers. And our thought was to pick one movie for every letter of the alphabet and like have that be a way to help decide what movies to watch.
Yeah, because I know it's so hard. You're like, what movie? You just type in like good movies to watch, and then it's just like. But if you want to do alphabet, I saw one that people made a list of every year that they've been alive, and then we were talking, and we thought of if you go back and do like Academy nominated ones, like, because that's just like a good list of like a lot of movies, like
and good quality movies too. Like if you want to watch, you know, sometimes you want something real throwaway, but sometimes you want something a little more meaty. And I personally excluded anything having to do with epidemics and war. Because that's me. I'm not saying I want everything to be happy and, you know, flowers in the park, but whatever. I just felt like for now, excluding those categories was something that would make me feel better. So, though actually, our first one that we did was Forrest Gump, and there's a bit of war in that.
I've never seen it before,
yeah.
So I didn't know what it was about because my whole life I was like, I need to watch that. So
And now you have.
anytime I saw anything about it, I like did not look at it. So yeah.
Yeah, I know you have. All right. So there. So, and because, well, your finished object is your paper that you turned in yesterday.
My paper.
For, what was it?
Political Science, Poly 227, Developing Areas.
Very nice. And actually, it was so interesting. I read it. It was like the one little once over before you submitted it last night. And it was talking about women in Uruguay and Chile, thank you. And it made me think about Manos del Uruguay, too, the yarn company, and how, like, one of, their whole mission is...
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, it was about, like, women's organizations and, like, why women mobilize under authoritarian regimes.
And how, and all that.
And how.
So it was interesting. I did mention it to you at the time because I knew you wanted to get it in, but yeah, I've thought about that whole connection, even with our yarny world. So that was that. All right.
Anyway, I'm going to move on because Amanda's not going to know what to do with this, or she's going to edit it all out. To finished objects. Obviously, I'm wearing my Rowan Cotton Cashmere Soldotna, and I just sat on my skirt. So, this is the Cotton Cashmere Soldotna, which I'm wearing with a linen dress underneath because it's 70 degrees today, and it's beautiful. So, this called for a spring outfit, but it's still like PJs. Yay, because that's what I'm in these days. We just got a shipment of cotton cashmere, which I think Kathleen will tell you a little bit more about. But so this is 4 colors of the Rowan Cotton Cashmere, which it's a super wearable sweater. It's the Soldotna Crop. I adjusted the neckline. My notes are in my Ravelry project on Ravelry under Jabo. So I may have voice to texted it. This may be the one where Kathleen was like, I could tell that you voice to texted it because it has some weird typos. I may or may not have fixed those typos. Like I said, I'm an editor, but I'm not a copy editor. I don't copy edit. Big picture things. So I'm wearing this today, but last week when it was still cold, I finally finished my indoor camouflage that I was working on last time, which is the Felix sweater in the Lucky Tweed green. I think it's pine, maybe. Look, you can see the pretty eyelets. I've worn this like a million times already. It is like the most comfortable sweatshirty but cute sweater. I wore this over a linen dress when it was warmer but a little bit chillier last week. I love it. Amanda did hers in the gray. I did this mostly as written. Again, my notes are in Ravelry. But I love this Lucky Tweed. It's such a fantastic yarn to work with. It's merino, it's a Donegal tweed yarn. So it has all of these gorgeous flecks of color. I mean, look at that. That's about as much yellow as I could ever wear. But I really love how it came out. And it was such a great pattern to do. Very straightforward. The only thing that might be a little bit tricky is the placement of the eyelets. And when you're doing the short rows in the back, you just have to pay attention a little bit. I really didn't modify it a whole heck of a lot. I think I may have taken down the number of stitches that I cast on at the underarm when we divide for the sleeves. I don't remember off the top of my head. But otherwise I did it mostly as written, which never happens. So yeah, I'm really happy with the Felix.
Works in progress. So I have several things I want to tell you about. The first is the second sock in Helen Stewart's Handmade Sock Society, which I showed you like this much of last week. I finished the first sock. I'm onto the second sock. And it's zooming by because I'm doing this a lot like while the kids are in school, while I'm helping them, with their schoolwork. So if I'm, giving a spelling test and calling out words, I can be knitting in a sock. If they're, working on a sentence for a paragraph, I could be knitting a sock, right? So unless I'm like writing on the board, I can knit a sock. So I've been doing that a lot, and this is the Ambient sock from Helen Stewart's Handmade Sock Society number 3. And here it is. So I'm using Socknado, which is one of my favorite sock yarns from Yarnia, with contrasting heels and toes, and knitted with a gumball. Not a double bubble, that's DK. This is the gumball, that's the fingering weight. So I thought the blue looked really nice with this, with the green, right? It's not like crazy bright. I mean, it would look really cool with hot pink too. Or bright orange, that would look really cool. Kathleen would like that. Bright orange heels and toes. And honestly, it's like one of those things. It depends on how you want to feel when you wear your socks. If the orange makes you happy, that's great. I really wanted something calm and chill. Maybe that's just what I need right now. Something calm and chill. And I felt like the navy blue was just really grounding. So yeah, that's what I did. And so this is the first sock. I'm on the second sock. I finished the leg of the second sock so far, but that's all I've got of that one. So ta-da! These are really cool. They've got a lace, sort of lace ribs on the front. Whoop. I'm gonna do a sock puppet thing for you. Hello, a sock puppet. Okay, I'm going to tell you about the rib on the leg of the sock. So the leg of the sock has, there we go. So the rib of the leg of the sock has this lace pattern on one side, right, with rows of eyelet lace, and then the back side has a texture. See? And so that pattern continues down once you get on the foot. So that lace pattern continues once you get down onto the foot of the sock, but of course there's no texture on the bottom of the foot. And you're supposed to do, remember I talked about eye of partridge heel last time, and slip stitch heel? So this is supposed to have eye of partridge heel, which just has those slip stitches offset every other row, and creates a nice squishy heel. I didn't read the pattern very closely. I just did a slip stitch heel. So to stay consistent, I'm doing a slip stitch heel on this one, even though I know now it's supposed to be eye of partridge. That's the way it is. It's fine. They look good. And I really like both kinds of heels, and honestly, slip stitch is easier for me, so yay. If this is going to be calm and tranquil, maybe slip stitch is the best anyway. So, yay! Ambient socks, and those will probably be done this week. And so this is my leftover yarn from our Yarnia Kickstarter 3 years ago. And I thought I had enough yarn for green. This is the green. That's the Nishwain plus Edgemont color. I thought I had enough. I did not. So fortunately, Kathleen, who of course was part of the Kickstarter too, she had leftover. So I have leftover. Now I think these were 2 different batches. You can tell a little bit of color change right here, where I went from my skein to Kathleen's skein. Hers is a little more yellowy, but that's okay. I mean, it's fine with me. And it's sort of nice that, I don't know, it was our Kickstarter for Yarnia, and I get to see the whole variation in the color, not just like one version of it. I like it. And that's what matters in knitting. You should like your own knitting. Next, I will show you my Damejakka Loppa, because I finished the body. Yay! Yeah. So I finished the body. It is done. Why don't I try it on just a minute? Yay! So here is my Damejakka Loppa, with no sleeves yet, and only half of the button band done, and obviously not steeked. But this is the nice part of a steeked sweater, is you can try it on as you go, right? As a pullover. So obviously I finished the yoke. Here's the body. I did, like I mentioned last week, I did do decreases here. So you'll see it interrupts like the Flea pattern a little bit because you do decreases here. I did, I guess, 8, right? Essentially took out 2 widths of fleas all the way down until I was back in pattern again, and then continued on to the waist. There's a little bit of color here before the ribbing at the bottom. There's 2.5 inches of rib, or 2.25. And then honestly, I finished that at the beginning of the week, and I was chicken to do my button band. I'd sort of asked Jen if she was available to show me real quick how to pick up stitches on my button band, but we never made it happen. So this morning my kids were watching Moana, and I just was like, I'm gonna do it before the podcast. So I went ahead and picked up stitches. I think they look okay. It gets a little bit better down here. But this is the side of the button band that is on the bottom. So maybe if I improve by the time I'm down here, I can do it a little bit better on the other side, which is the buttonhole side, and that'll be on top anyway. And anyway, like, I think they're fine. So you can see, like, there's a little bit of it's not perfect. I don't think it's bad. It looks fine unless you're like tugging on it, which I generally don't do to my sweaters. And there's not like, I've got a little bit of positive ease here, so it's not going to be like a super tight across my chest anyway. But yeah, let me take this off. I'll show you the inside since I turned it inside out. That's the inside of my sweater, and you can see, so when you're doing a collarwork sweater, yoked sweater, that's going to be a pullover, right? You want all of your yarn changes to be like in the back or on a back of a sleeve seam, so they're not as noticeable. But when you steek it, you put all of your your color changes like right in the middle of the steek. Because we're going to cut them off, and none of that matters, so there's no weaving in ends. All of this just gets cut off, and yay! No ends for all this color work, which is awesome, and I can't wait, and I've never done it before, but I'm really looking forward to it, because I do like this sweater. I think the more I work on it, right, when you're doing your colorwork swatch, you have like an image in your mind of how it's going to look, and as I knit on it, like I said last time, I was afraid that this was too bright, but then the gray really muted it down, and it looks really nice. And I love how this turquoise really offsets the gray. I think it's going to be very pretty. Yay! I'm super excited about it. I think, well, now that I've actually picked up for the button band, I might be able to finish it this month in April, which would be nice. I sort of want to do a more chill sweater. I have a few in my queue, fingering weight sweater that I can wear to like work or stuff. Not that I couldn't wear this to work, but it's not like Manhattan office type wear per se. But who knows, after all this we might all be working from home forever anyway. There's certainly no reason I need to go in an office. But still, I mean, I do like a nice fingering weight sweater. We'll think about it. But this will probably be done in April. Maybe, unless I get sidetracked, which is what I've done the past 3 days, because you might have seen my post on Instagram, but all of our yarn for the Rowan Elder Throw knit along came, and so that is a knit along that it's not us hosting it, it's Rowan. Rowan Yarns has one of their designers who designed Jill Abrams. No, that's not right. Beth Richardson. That might be right. I'll put it, obviously. Yeah, so she designed the Elder Throw, which is a DK weight blanket. It's going to be light. It's going to be really nice. all out of felted tweed. So we have a couple of kits left, almost gone, but I couldn't resist it because, and if you saw the Instagram post, you'll know why, because I threw the skeins of yarn in my chair and they match. Like, it's meant to be in this room. So why not? So I went ahead and started on it, and I finished, so the first, and so these are going to come out in clues, right? The first one comes out on the 5th, and I stayed up till 1 in the morning knitting on it because I had to finish. It's so addictive, and it's so, like, it's very potato chippy. You can totally knit this while you watch TV. I was watching, I forget what I was watching. We were watching a Barbie movie because we've been watching Barbie movies at night because my big girls loved them when they were growing up, and now they're like, we should share them with the little kids and they'll love them too. So we watched Barbie, Mermaidia, and The Magic of Pegasus. Yay! So this one was during Mermaidia, and I did finish the first large square of the throw. Yay! So the first clue, you actually knit 4 of these plus a bigger one. So instead of 4 square, it's 9 square for the very center of the throw. And these are just mitered squares, striped mitered squares, which honestly I had never done a mitered square before, but that's super easy. And like I said, very potato chippy, and it just sort of emerges. So I've finished this first square, and I started on the second during Magic of Pegasus, and finished the first square and part of the second square. So I'm right there right now. This project uses 13 colors of felted tweed. Some we had in the store before, some we didn't, so I ordered enough for kits, and like I said, we've got 2 left. But the cool thing about this blanket is the way that she's designed it is you knit like a square and then another square, and then instead of seaming it together, you pick up stitches here and here to make the next square, and here to make the next square, right? And that's actually how the whole blanket's put together. So then maybe next month, if we're doing something right, I'll pick up stitches here, and I'll pick up stitches here, so there's no seaming at the end. It just all magically happens. I mean, by the magic of picking up stitches. But one thing that I have decided to do, and obviously I started this square already, but after I finish this one, I'm going to go ahead and weave in all the ends on this one, because there are 2 ends for every square, or 4 ends for every square, so what's that, 16 for a square? I could save them for later. I don't mind weaving in ends, but it could get a little frustrating eventually, especially with all this stuff hanging down on the back. It'll be nice and finished if I weave them in now. So I'll probably work on that when I have, maybe that'll be a good after the ambient socks, right, during spelling test projects. Weaving in ends. But, so, the first clue is out, and it is these mitered squares, which I really love. And this first clue uses every single color that's in the pattern, so you really get to play around with all your colors. It's a lot of fun. I like it. So, let's see, the last thing that I have today is, remember I said I like seaming? It's a good thing, because the other Rowan blanket I'm working on, which is our knit along from last year, the Martin Storey pure wool superwash knit along, mystery knit along. That one is in blocks and seams. So this is 1 row. What I did was I finished all my squares, I blocked them. I think I showed you like the stack of blocks, right? And then I put them out on the floor. I'll put a picture in here when I put it out on the floor. But I put it on the floor, and you can see how I put it in the order that I wanted to make sure that no design, like that no square was touching a square that was the same design as it, and no square was touching a square that was the same color as it. And that took a little bit of like finagling and sorting. But now that means I have, and then I stack them in order for each row, and then I piece them. So this has been a conference call project, right? Just pick up square, seam it, and obviously I'm seaming, I'm not sewing these squares together. Seaming is different from sewing. I think there was somebody in the knitting circle who was talking about that this week, in the Montclair knitting circle who was talking about that this week. Talking about seaming together, right? When you're sewing, if I was sewing these together, I'd put them together right side facing, and then in a sewing machine or hand stitching, I'd sew them, you know, the sides together that I want to sew together. That's not how you do it when you're seaming, you're knitting. You actually put the right sides next to each other, like this, and then pick up stitches from one, stitches from the other side, stitches from one side, stitches from the other side. That's called a mattress stitch, and it makes a, there are different ways you can join. That's how you do a mattress stitch, which is a seam. That's how I did all the seams in this sweater, right? That's all these seams here. And it makes a seam that looks like this on the inside, right? And it looks like this on the outside. Let me give you a good example of it. The colors are a little bit different. Right? So there's no, it's just row to row, every row. There's no gathering on the back. There's a seam. And actually, you can seam in any color. I'm using gray, but it doesn't matter because, as you can see, you can't see your seam color at all. It all rolls under either side, the selvage sides of the seam. So that's seaming, which I really enjoy. I find it relaxing. These squares, well, almost anytime you're seaming, I find you sort of have to pay attention as you go, because one side might be a little shorter than the other side or didn't block, or these I feel like should be all the same number of rows, but they're not. Some are a little bit tighter than others. It's fine. You can compensate as you go, and there's definitely a technique to doing that. I can, if people want to see a tutorial, let me know, and I'd be happy to film one, because I did figure out how to get my, but there's a lot of videos online too. So if you feel like there's enough good content online, that's great. If you're like, I can't find anything, I need your help, Amanda, let me know. I'll be happy to do a little tutorial. I did get my setup with my overhead camera working, so I was actually able to do a Zoom help time this week, where someone could, we could talk to each other face to face on Zoom, and also had a second camera looking over my hand so they could see what I was doing, you know, slowly and contrasting yarn, which worked out really well, and hopefully I'll be able to get some more of those scheduled this week. Probably not a ton, given how honestly busy life is, but a few, so be paying attention for those if that's something that would be helpful. So I got all my strips of that blanket done. So I have 8 rows. They're all seamed vertically, you can see. So each square, they're now 8 big strips. And now I've got to put them on the floor to seam them like the long ways. But that's good because there's only 6 of those. 5 of those, right? No. There's 8 rows. Now that I'm thinking about this, I don't know why I did the short way in the rows and seamed them one at a time. It would have been much smarter to put the 8 in a row and seam across, and then I'd only have to do 5. seams on the floor instead of 7, right? Because now I have 8 of the shorter rows. It's a 6x8 blanket. There's 48 squares, so 6x8. So I did 8 rows of 6 instead of 6 strips of 8. And if I had, which I can do the strips in my lap on a call. I don't know why I did that. Pro tip, don't do that. It'll save you, I don't know about time, but it'll definitely save you, I think it'll save you time. Maybe. You'll certainly have fewer strips to put together, even if each strip takes a little bit longer, like lengthwise, right? If you're going a long way. Anyway, water under the bridge. I'm going to be doing them long ways, so I've got 7 to seam, right? Because it's 8 total. Yay. So maybe, I don't think I'll finish that by next podcast, mainly because I'm distracted by the elder throw. But I will definitely have it done probably 2 podcasts from now.
All right. So, it's Kathleen and Haley back again to talk about works in progress. Haley, why don't you start, since you have a more exciting work in progress than me? I have not done much.
So, as I said last time, I really want to make clothes to wear.
Mm-hmm.
So, I finally just cracked down, bought a pattern from I have been, usually, because like Pinterest, it is a little iffy to find like my style of like crochet patterns that are actually lead to patterns, because Pinterest is like, sometimes it's just a picture and doesn't actually go anywhere.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole.
But on Instagram, like, since the algorithm shows you similar things, like once you save a couple, you kind of, in the explore page, you get, so that's really good. So I found a couple brands that I really like. So I finally just bought a t-shirt pattern. I don't have a picture of it.
We'll have to send it to Amanda so she can put it, so she can link it.
So,
and it was on Ravelry, right? You got it.
It is on Ravelry, yes. So I don't quite remember the name of the. Oh, it's Knits and Knots. I don't remember the name of the designer, but her brand is Knits and Knots Winnipeg, like WPG, and this is the beginning of a t-shirt.
Yes, it's so cute.
It's not really like wearable right now because it doesn't really.
Well, you did try it on earlier though. And it
well, yeah, but it, not like for the. Not for the camera.
No.
And so I wanted to. This is the Ancient Arts. What's it called?
Walnut and Bay.
Yeah, Walnut. Yes, Walnut and Bay from the Kickstarter. And
it was a yarn that we custom dyed for Yarnia, and I'm not 100% sure whether we have any skeins left, but it is Ancient Arts Socknado one, which is a really nice fingering weight yarn.
And then I started with this, which is Space Cadet Lyra in the color Vortex.
Right.
Which we don't carry anymore.
We do. We still have a bit.
Okay,
we still have a bit of it.
So I started with this, and then it ended up not being a lot for the shirt.
It is a little bit heavier. It's a little bit heavier. These are close enough, we think, to use in the same pattern, but you wanted
this
more
is a little
of it
bit
before.
Thinner. And the pattern's written for a sport, but I just did size small in fingering, and it worked out fine. Like it fits me.
We did a little math. We did a little math before you
did a little math for me. And so I'm really happy with it right now, and I'm gonna kind of just like fade it in a couple rows and like alternate so that they are together, because they look
great together. They really do.
Together.
They work
so
well.
Hopefully next time you see me.
That's right. I think next time she'll have a finished top. In fact, she could in a couple of days. Your crochet is fast, and you're a fast crocheter on top of it.
I zoom.
You do zoom. I think during one of the last knit nights, like you started with a tiny little cat mat, and it was like giant by the time we were done with knit night. My main project that I'm working on is still my Magnolia pullover. Thank you. Which I'm doing in Spun Right Round Squish DK in the colorway Treasured, which this yarn is really nice to work with. This is the first project I've used it for, but I know Amanda's used it for a couple of things. And certainly a lot of our customers did, because the first time we stocked it,
I know I wasn't here. Like
the shelf was full, and then literally that was the shelf where we did the question. Why did we stop the video? Because Kathleen had to go put other things on the shelf. It was so empty. So everyone loves this yarn. It feels great. It washes beautifully. And I am
Hand
taking
wash or superwash?
It's superwash. It is superwash. So what I usually do with superwash things though is I do hand wash them in a basin with soak. And then now I've really started to I do squeeze out some water, but I've started putting it in the washer on the gentle spin cycle to get as much water out as possible. And it's amazing how much it speeds up the drying time.
Like without water?
Yeah, I just do the spin part of the cycle. Yep. And
because that's like without heat, so it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just and it's
not like putting it in a dryer.
I feel like our washer has a pretty decent gentle cycle, so it's not as rough as if I put it in a regular cycle just on spin. I'm using the Magnolia pattern that I used for my cardigan, and I'm just adding a repeat of the lace down the middle to take the place of the button bands, because I was happy with the gauge that I got with that sweater, and there is a Magnolia chunky pullover, but it's even chunkier weight than I would get with this yarn, and I didn't feel like adding mohair. I feel like I'll be able to wear this for longer.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I'm holding it and thinking about it, I'm gonna try to get this done by the next podcast, because we still are having some cool days. Like the mornings are cool, and I feel like I still will be able to wear it. So
every time you say button band, sorry, this is going back a bit. It sounds like Muffin Man. I don't know if that's just me. Muffin Man. That's what it sounds like.
All right. So as we said, we were pretty minimal on the works in progress right now, but that's where we are, and we're being kind to ourselves. We're not beating ourselves up.
And then let's go to what is on my needles. I have not been super creative these past couple of weeks, mostly because I'm apparently now a kindergarten teacher in addition to a 5th grade teacher, and I am not a kindergarten teacher or a 5th grade teacher. I am very, very bad at those things. So my poor kids. So, and also like everybody else, dealing with like toggling and bouncing back and forth between super anxious and losing my complete being, and being like, okay, I got this. We're gonna make dinner tonight. We're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. So, I mean, this is a weird time. So, you don't have to be productive. This is a time where, for as much as you want to be or you can be, awesome. But as creative folks or folks who enjoy making stuff, don't feel the pressure of like, oh, this is the time that I must be creative and I must do something. Like, take a step back. It's okay if you don't want to, if you just want to sit and zone out, or if you want to watch Tiger King again, which, don't spoil me, I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list, but my husband has zero interest in it, so I'm just waiting till when I can watch it on my own. So in the meantime, what I have been doing is I have been working on my Dame de Fer Cardigan, which is the right side. This is the right side. So I am at the point where I need to wind some more yarn, fingering weight. I don't know if you can see. It's hard to see. There we go. That's a bit better focus. It's a really pretty texture pattern, and this is a top-down circular yoke cardigan. It's fingering weight, and I'm doing it on either 2s or 3s. I can't remember which, so it's taking me forever. I am now at the point past the textured point, and I'm at basically the most stitches I will ever have on the needle right now, which is something ridiculous. Hundreds, and it's just, now I'm just knitting back and purling back and forth in stockinette until the yoke is 9.5 inches, and I don't have anywhere near 9.5 inches. So it's a good knit night, chatting, watching TV kind of thing, but it takes me like a long time to do one row, and I'm a fast knitter. So yeah, it's going to take me a while. Anyway, so I worked on this a bit at knit night. It's coming along. I'll get there. In the meantime, I also still have, in this bag no less, I still have my colors for my Damejakka Loppa. I said that totally wrong. My Flea ladies cardigan out of the Fennel PT2 from Rama that I have to swatch with. What I really need to do is I need to print that chart out and bust out the coloring pencils. I have a bunch over there somewhere. So I'll probably do that soon, maybe this weekend. I don't know. My husband has also been running a online D&D Dungeons and Dragons game for the 5th grade boys, friends of my son. So my job is to occupy the 6-year-old while that happens. So yeah, that's been fun. We've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing, which I also enjoy for the mindless routine. Animal Crossing, I know what day it is because they tell you every day, and it goes in real time. It's been fun.
Is there my last? No? Okay. All right. So new in store, we have some new colors of cotton cashmere. We have 16 colors altogether. I am going to grab some of these, and I'll send Amanda the picture that we had in the newsletter. We've got beautiful neutrals. So if you're interested, I'm not sure whether or not this is on the website, but I'll make a note of what the color numbers are for each of the pictures. And you can let us know if you're interested in it. We love it. So those are the neutrals. And then we've got lots of colors in the blue and red family. Some gorgeous blues and reds. And more in the red to lavender and pink to coral range. So one of the things we've gotten in the store recently that, of course, no one has seen since the store hasn't been open is the new Knit Simple. And it's interesting because Amanda is usually the fan of Knit Simple among us. You know, I am too. It's not that I'm not a fan, but I just haven't looked at it as much. But I've had a little bit more time to look at all the magazines as they come in. And I think I'm going to make myself the sweater on the cover of this. I think I'm going to make a little bit more of a scoop neck. But since this is a bottom-up sweater, it does not look like that would be hard to do. I'm just going to adjust when I start my decreases for the neck and make the shoulder pieces a little bit longer. But I think that you may be seeing me in a future podcast wearing this sweater in this color. So this also is not on the website, but if you email us or call us or leave us a voicemail, we can, you know, drop it off for you or ship it to you. Knit Simple is $7.99 per issue. There is tax on magazines in New Jersey, and the cotton cashmere, which is lovely, and we did feature in our recent newsletter, is $13 a ball, and that is for, I want to get this exactly right, 137 yards. We have sweater quantities of most, if not all of these colors, and you know, a bag is 1,300 yards, so for, you know, most people, including myself, and I'm a larger person, I can get a nice spring sweater out of a bag or less of that yarn. So I think that's it for me right now for new in store. And actually, one thing talking about that we had featured this in our recent newsletter. If you don't already get our newsletter, we do encourage you to sign up for it. Jen does an amazing job every week writing it. Amanda and I chime in with a few comments. I do photography for it a lot of the time, but you know, it's our chance to really kind of at your own speed and at your own pace, just kind of see some of the new things that we've got in store, what we're doing, and actually, even if you're interested in joining our virtual knit nights and crochet Sundays, there will be links in the newsletter that'll show you quickly how to do that. So the easiest way to subscribe to the newsletter is go to our website, www.shopyarnia.com. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of the homepage, there will be a link there. Join the newsletter or send me your newsletter. I forget exactly what the wording is, but you will figure it out. All right.
Let's see. Anything else? I don't think so. So I hope you all have a great week. For those of you who have kids in Montclair Public Schools or other schools who are on spring break this week, I hope you have a fun and relaxing spring break. If you have ideas for fun things to do at home or activities that you're going to do with your kids at home, feel free to put them in the down bar down there. I think we're all looking for a little inspiration. And by the time this podcast comes out, I'll be done with week 1 of spring break and be looking myself for some good tips on how to, how to bring something new and exciting to the second week of spring break. Because, I know all the kids are a little bit bummed, I'm sure, because we were all planning to do trips or, it would be a break from, at the very least, even if we were staying home, and we were planning to stay home this year, we probably would have gone to a museum, right? Go to the city for a day, go on a nature hike or something, and everything's closed. So it's not going to feel, even if, it is spring break, it's not going to feel like a difference from the day before or the day after. So that's, one thing that I've been trying to do is find a way to make each day feel a little special for the kiddos. And for me, too. And trust me, casting on my elder throw made it feel very special. But I think that's all I have for you today. So thanks for joining us. As always, let me know if you have any suggestions or comments. Our virtual knit nights, which have been really fun. They haven't been huge groups, right? It's been, maybe 16, 17, which is manageable. We, chit chat, share great ideas, not just about knitting, but about how we're all surviving and coping, and then share our projects, which bring and brag is always fun, right? So yeah, it's a good time to grab a drink of anything you want, and, chat with other crafters. We've even had some weaving on because while it's hard to bring your loom to the store, you can easily set up your Zoom by your loom. Zoom by your loom. That should be a thing.
So let me pull my little coworker back up here. Oh, the pets are also confused. They're like, why are the people around all the time? We're around because we love you, but we're also all trying to stay safe. So take care, and we will see you very soon, and hope to see some more of you on our virtual knit nights. It's been nice to meet some folks recently that way. All right, take care. Bye.
But anyway, great to see you. Hope you have a great week, and take care. Bye.
So, in the meantime, everybody stay safe, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Hi there, it's Kathleen.
And Haley.
Back again to talk about finished objects. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I have not been doing that much knitting. Actually, I think what I've been doing more than anything else as my de-stress is play Candy Crush. So, yeah.
Everyone's screen time, I'm sure, is
through
the roof.
I've been getting notification. Yeah, I get the weekly notification like your screen time was up 300%.
300%, right? Yeah. I know. I worked so hard all year on getting it down, and I would be happy with like your screen time was down like 18% over the last week. And I was like, that is a lot. And now it's like up so much. Yeah. But it's okay.
It's okay. Being on here is in her normal morning pose. We've got a little thing on the back of the sofa here in the TV room, and she normally looks out the window and waits for the mailman to come. So now that I've finished taping my segment this morning, she's back to her normal spot, and she's checking. She'll let us know if anyone comes too close to the house, or especially if the mailman comes.